Okay, we are back with the Octopode Air Elementalist. First thing we're going to do, we were training invocations, but we're swapping to shields. Because this buckler still exists, and we really want to get some defenses. But first thing we have to do here is go through Lair, which is very easy, for the most part. The thing about Lair is it's just a big pile of experience, which is exactly what we need right now, and it'll also help us gain some Sifmuna piety. So we should probably be training, just to make sure the piety goes up, we should probably be training some kind of either spell casting or spell school, because as far as I remember, unless they changed something, that is the only way to gain any appreciable amount of piety with her. So we'll primarily be using Lightning Bolt in here against things that have not too great EV, like this Komodo Dragon. He dodged a bunch, so we're gonna use a wand on him. Now we're only going to train shields to 4, because that's all you need for a buckler. These blink frogs can be kind of obnoxious. See, the bolt of lightning hit him but didn't kill him, unfortunately. There's going to be a ton of these guys. And our defenses suck. So we're going to try to confuse them a bit. See, now we're already out of mana. And we really don't, unfortunately, have a way to get it back just yet. So we're going to be kind of using these wands. Wand of Flame becomes useless pretty quickly, but it's still kind of handy right now. And it'll let us do some things here where we're able to do some damage without using mana, which is nice. And we're not using any resources we care too much about. Would be nice to get sort of a kill haul type thing going on here, where we can only be hit by 1 or like 2 at the most at the same time. It's just a bit difficult, unfortunately, inside of Lair. One thing I like to do when faced with groups of enemies, especially stuff with high EV, which these guys have 4 pips, which is a lot. If I have something like a Wand of Flame, I'll make sure that I'm targeting the guy behind, like this, because if it misses him, it has a chance to hit the one behind it. Like right here, I'm pretty much guaranteed to hit one of these 3 guys. Yeah, we're taking a good amount of damage here, unfortunately. I mean, they can do up to 20, and we have almost no armor class, so we can expect that to do a lot of damage every single time. Probably ought to take the time to do some hexing. So I actually see this as dangerous enough that we should use a Wand of Clouds now that our hit points are a little bit low. That's great. That will take them down very fast, so just for fun and for just to make this a little bit easier, we'll keep using Wand of Flame. But as you can see, they die pretty fast inside that fire. Let's Meth Cloud him. Yeah, he's confused. Let us swing on him. And he dies. Once we get some more identify, that'll be nice, because we can identify some of our hexing wands, especially paralysis. That will really be helpful against some of this stuff. Still quite a few enemies here, unfortunately. See, look at all that stuff. We do not want to fight all this at the same time. The frogs are faster than us. The crocodile is not. So if we just kind of walk away for a while, we can go ahead and take him out. But if we just walk away for a while, maybe get away from those blink frogs. Gain some mana back. Let's make some imps. They'll get in the way a bit. Maybe not. That's okay. Now, unfortunately, we're gonna... I mean, he can do 20 damage, but we should be fine. We'll just... If we get hit too hard, we can blink. Let's go ahead and blink. Until we get a favorable one. And we'll meth cloud him. And airstrike to death. This plays very differently than a character that's, you know, like a Minotaur that hits tab a lot. We haven't, as far as I know, we haven't hit tab even once for this whole run, and it'll pretty much stay like that if you want to play a pure caster. Still kind of avoiding using auto-explore just like before, because we still have really bad defenses and we only have 64 hit points, which, you know, one full hit from a Hydra, that'll kill us. Probably. And there are some setups where there's water on one of these floors. You auto-explore into water, you might die instantly. There are things you can set in your RC file that make you not auto-explore into water, but, you know, well, I guess that's, in this particular case, that wouldn't be as big of an issue because I'm an Octopode, so I don't think I'm slowed by water. But still, you're not going to get away. You're not going to get away from the Hydra because they move very, very fast inside of water. So even if you somehow survive that very first attack, you're not having a good time after that. In general, you just don't want to auto-explore when there's a chance that you'll instantly die as a consequence. We're almost 4 shields, which means we can almost stop training. Okay, here we go. We got a Black Mamba. We really want to kill him like right now. He does a ton of damage. I had hoped that airstrike would do the job, but it did not. Uh-oh. Yeah, this is where the Wand of Clouds can kind of not work out for you. He doesn't care about poison. He's resistant. Luckily, we have a lot of potions. We have curing. We have heal wounds. We have all kinds of stuff. So because he's constricted and he's taking damage, I think we're just gonna opt to use some flames here. Yeah, and he dies. If you can avoid using resources without taking too big a risk, it's often good. At the same time, you know, you'd rather use a resource than die. So if there is any chance that you could die instantly, go ahead and quaff that healing or use that blink scroll, because it's not going to help you if you're dead. Airstrike doing good work for us. Oh, right, okay. So I trained up all those shields, didn't bother to put it on. I'm going to drop all these two-handed things. I'm going to wear the shield. And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna blow these enchant armor scrolls. Because really, we have nothing better to put them on. I mean, technically we can wear a hat, but are we gonna find one? Maybe not. And we'll wear the Staff of Cold. We're pretty much guaranteed to run into a Rhyme Drake at some point in here, so the resistance on that will be nice. Let's just walk backwards for a while. Anything that's speed 10, you know, the same speed as you. Oh. Who's this guy? Yeah, let's just walk away from these. Because that's what you can do. You can just walk away. We're gonna go up. Uh-oh, we're confused, but that's fine. Go back down. Do some airstrikes. Not too afraid of that Swamp Drake. He's not really supposed to be here, I don't think, but he must have either been from the entrance vault to Swamp, or he's just some kind of out-of-depth spawn. I think his presence, he wasn't a shapeshifter, although there shouldn't be shapeshifters in here either. He was a regular Swamp Drake, and that tells me, even though I haven't discovered Swamp, there's probably an entrance to Swamp. On the other hand, I don't think Swamp can show up on Lair 1, so maybe Swamp Drakes are just in the spawn table for Lair now. Or it could be a vault. Could be a lot of things. Okay, as you can see, we've been kind of dancing around the Nergal for a while. He, well, I don't know if it's a he or a she. I guess it's a she. It's a sorceress, but she's sort of obnoxious. We don't want to be bolted here. We don't want to even be in melee with Spectral Orcs. We do have the Shield of Positive Energy, which is going to make that less of a problem. But let's see how many hit points she has. $60. I mean, if we hit her with some lightning bolts, she should go down fairly quickly. I mean, with a little luck. But I want to have the ability to not be right next to her, so let's just shout. Yeah, there we go. We're just gonna play it safe. Technically, we could hex her. 36% is not terrible if you want to spam. And to be honest, if I had these identified, I probably would, but I don't. Ah, she has a haste potion. Well, we're just going to walk away and wait for that to wear off. And now is a good time to go ahead and pick up these Scrolls of Recharging, which I just remembered exist. They're for sale for 280 gold, which is a steal. And those are really nice for Wand of Clouds. And with 3 Scrolls of Recharging and a Wand of Clouds and 9 evocations, we're pretty well set for obnoxious encounters for a while. There's not a lot of stuff in the game that a Wand of Clouds can't fix for you. For example, I might just go ahead and take out our friend Gastronaut here. Unless I can get him in like a favorable spot to get, I shouldn't have shouted there. Crap. He's slow, it's fine. Let's just see what Lightning Bolt does to him, or we can just miscast, that's fine. And let's walk away and get our mana back. Yeah, he is very slow, so it's, unless he slows you as well, you can pretty much just sort of walk away from him. Of course, if he wants to slow us, he will. Just kind of shout a lot, he will follow you. Not the best cloud we could have asked for, but should poison him quite a lot. Now he can do up to 50 damage to us with that airstrike. So if he slams us with a particularly nasty one, we will, if we want to guarantee we won't die, we'll have no choice but to blow a blink, which is unfortunate, but I really don't want this guy to kind of show up while I'm stair dancing out of Lair and take me out. So using the resources to take him out now is probably the best option. Yeah, we'll just keep zapping. Oh, he casts Swiftness, or Sprint. I think Sprint is just more or less the monster version of Swiftness. Okay, we've blown all of our mana, and he's still walking around, unfortunately. Is he as poisoned as he can get? No, he's not, but he is very poisoned. Let's take a risk. Let's take a risk and, well, no, Disintegration has a 6% chance. Let's see if we can zap him with that. Okay, I think he's sick enough that if we just kind of walk away, he ought to die. Because he's so slow, it's even with Swiftness up. There we go. Yeah, he's going to die. If he doesn't, then... There he is. Okay, this is good that he took that route. We can get the double zap. And he dies. And I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier. He has a hat. He has a hat, and we're going to find out what that is. Hey, see invisible is never a bad thing. Well, unless you're a race that gets it automatically, but we don't. We'll go ahead and enchant that up, because any amount of armor class is a nice plus. You see me checking for more scrolls there. Periodically I will do the Control F, and just to see if I missed anything, I'll type something like enchant, and just make sure that there's no enchant armor scrolls on the ground, or for sale, or whatever, just anything I might have missed. I like to do that for, like, artifacts, ego. You see if there's, like, a decent weapon. I'm going to do ego and weapon like this to see just the weapons with some kind of enchant on them. Although we're pretty well set. You're starving. Oh right, we have Nergal to deal with here. We should eat first. Don't want to go into a fight hungry, not if you're casting especially. So let's see how we want to handle this. I think we're going to just kind of go down and... Oh, she walked away. Usually they don't do that. I don't think she walked away. I think she's probably around the corner. But usually you're just going to have to deal with it if you have something waiting for you, unless you've been gone for a very long time. That's been my experience. We're going to recharge the clouds. And we're going to yell a little bit. Yeah, she's right there. So we'll... Actually, you know, we really ought to check how much damage that Bolt of Draining can do. Alright. If we just check Nergal, it should tell us. Here's another place where this game could really be improved. I mean, it's an open source game, so maybe they'll take my suggestions under advisement. But we've got Bolt of Draining here. We can see her max hit points or thereabouts, and it's given to us as a number. We can see her, you know, the melee damage she can do or thereabouts. It's given to us as a number. Not so much for her spells. And that just strikes me as sort of inconsistent. Well, she can do 3d18, so she can do roughly 60 damage to us. And I think that's reduced by my negative resistance. I want to say 50%. Maybe. Yeah, 50%. So we're, if my understanding of this is correct, we can only take about 30 damage from her. Unless she has buddies, you know, spectral buddies that she summons. So we'll open up with the wand. That's a good one. She's not resistant to fire. This will take her down pretty fast. And she's in a great position for us to get lightning bolt double zaps. So we'll just completely take her down. Very easy. Oh, maybe not. Oh, there we go. She dodged quite a few of those, but that's the nature of the beast when you're using lightning bolt. You notice we've just been sort of training spellcasting here. But now that we have access to divine energy, we should get some invocations. Well, no, wait. This is actually, okay, ever since the change, there are two Sif Muna abilities. This is the first one. This one doesn't really care about invocations. It always works. You turn it on, you turn it off. Sorry about motorcycle man outside. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that. But if it's turned on, and I just like to keep it on all the time, you get this little plus cast up here. And what that means is you can cast one spell for free if you're out of mana, or if you don't have enough mana to cast it, which I think it clears out your mana to 0, and then for a while you can't cast anything. That's a nice little magic management tool. And later you'll get another one that is dependent on invocations. And what it does is it just makes you regenerate mana really quickly. We got some trees here. With some water. If I had to guess, I would say this is where the swamp drake came from. Fun fact, you can set trees on fire if you are using lightning. And that can be useful. In fact, we're going to use it right now, again. Maybe. This is a little odd. I thought I could... Can't seem to angle it properly. That's okay. We'll walk around. This guy's not any faster than us, so... There we go. What? Apparently not. Curious. A little confused on why it's not letting me... Must be misunderstanding how the directions work with this. We'll just set it on fire. Yeah, that was a good move. He unfortunately can hit us for 34 damage, which is a lot right now. Let's try to kill him. He can't kill us in one shot. I guess technically he... Whoa, whoops, whoa, I didn't mean to go into that. That could have been bad. No warning on that, strangely enough. Did I get a warning on that? Huh. It let me walk right into that fire. Could have sworn there was a warning for that. Oh well. We lived, it doesn't matter. But don't walk into fire. When you're starving, you cannot cast anything. I'm trying to avoid eating my perma-food too much. We get hungry pretty fast because our spellcasting and intelligence just doesn't combine to a high enough value to make our spells hungerless yet. Whoops. I was trying to pull this up. Yeah, as you can see, Lightning Bolt still eats up a lot of spell hunger, and even Airstrike takes some. This is a great example of a water vault where, you know, you could auto-explore into this on something that's not amphibious and, you know, get hit 2-3 times by a Hydra or a, you know, Komodo dragon, anything that does a decent amount of damage, even a Mamba, you know, anything really at this point in the game can have you taking a lot of damage. Enough to kill you. Which is why Auto Explorer is suboptimal. Although this is a fairly wide open floor. Don't really need to be worried about out of depth spawns in Lair, since everything in here is very easy. At the most, you're going to be dealing with tedium rather than something that's scary. Unless it's unique. Of course, Hydras can be scary if, you know, under a very limited amount of circumstances. Like if you go down a staircase and they're right there, and you've been to the floor before. That can be very scary, because they can get the hit on you, and there's really no way to perfectly avoid that, unfortunately. Merfolk Siren. Let's eat this jelly first. We'll lightning bolt her. And we'll meth cloud her. What's her evasion? Her evasion's fairly good. Let's airstrike. And she's confused. That's good. There we go. See, we only had 3 mana there, but we did an airstrike. So we go to 0 mana, and we get the minus cast. And yeah, can't cast anything. So I could drink a potion of magic here, and I would still not be able to cast. But it lasts very briefly. We take a rest, and we get our magic right back. So it becomes really, you can use it very tactically. Once you get higher level spells especially, you might have 1, 2, or 0 mana, but with the power of that ability, you can, you know, cast a level 9, level 8 spell. Sort of like wearing a ring of mana, I guess. Only better. I want to wear ID these amulets, but I'm not going to, because the risk of amulet of harm is just there. Let's lure these guys into a better engagement spot. In fact, they can only do, what, 18 damage to me, so I'm going to actually wait. There we go. Now we got a nice line. Look at that. 5 casts, we kill the whole pack. White Imp. But I didn't see a portal vault for Ice Cave, so I'm curious what a White Imp was doing here. Some sort of vault, I imagine. Got an enchanted giant clump here. Too bad I'm not an ogre. Here's our vault. Here's that ice vault. This is where we're happy we have the resist cold. This is actually quite nice for us. We could just kind of ping this guy from across the lake, and there's not a whole lot it can do to us. I'm gonna use a little hunger, unfortunately. mean, he can... Airstrike is not going to do a lot to him with his AC and all, but, you know, what's he going to do? He's going to... He can drop freezing clouds on our head, we can just walk out of that. He can summon these ice guys, but we can just sort of walk away, and since they're summoned, they don't follow us upstairs. Go back down, they're gone. And the kicker is that they don't heal these statues, so we can just kind of just slowly whittle him down like that, and he goes away. Ice Devil goes down as well. We're rewarded with a Poisoner's Handbook, which we really don't care about. I mean, I could memorize Toxic Radiance. I guess it wouldn't be... Well, let's err on the side of... Yeah, let's go ahead and memorize it. And the reason for this is we're worshipping Sif Muna, so we don't care. We don't care about, oh no, we're not going to have enough Amnesia Scrolls. It doesn't happen. Because you have that Forget spell ability that you eventually get. In fact, I'm tempted to get Poisonous Vapors as well. But I don't think we need that. I mean, this is about the point in the game where poison becomes not great. But it'll serve us up until, you know, and past Orc, so Orc and Lair. After that, you're just not going to get a lot of mileage. It was our first Spiny Frog, I think. Spiny Frogs, I think, are more dangerous than Hydras. They're Hydras that you can't get away from. They'll dodge a lot of attacks, they'll do a ton of damage, and they'll poison you. And unlike Hydras, you just can't evoke your feet and walk away. Unless you're already very close to a staircase. Let's go ahead and use the Scroll of Identify. And like I was saying, since we have wands now, let's use it on Paralyze. Paralyze is one of the best wands in the game. It really deals with anything that doesn't have a ton of MR. Just takes it out for you. Nothing else really on this floor, so let's go down. Well, let's make sure I will auto-explore these floors that I've already explored, just to make sure I didn't miss anything. That could burn us, but I'll take the risk. Now that I have 70 hit points, I will take the risk on floors I've already explored, mostly. We have another Identify here. Let's use it on one of the amulets. Hey, there's our Amulet of Harm. That's gone. We can now wear ID amulets. We got Amulet of Inaccuracy. We'll drop that. We can drop the Amulet of Rage. We're not going to get a lot of mileage out of that. Magic Regeneration, though, is great for us. Oops. Don't want to zap ourselves. These guys just keep coming, huh? Let's go up. We'll just take another staircase down. If we can find one we haven't explored. See, this could burn us. We have been to Lair 3 now, so if I go down, if there were a Hydra next to me, I want to say it would get a free attack on me, or at the very least I wouldn't get that free movement to go back up without getting hit. So you want to avoid. I mean, stair dancing is a very useful tool, especially if you're using multiple staircases. Here we go. Yeah, staircasing can be dangerous. Stair dancing can be dangerous, rather. Alright, this guy is not going to be that dangerous for us. We have resist cold, and he, you know, he can use refrigeration or whatever, but he really shouldn't do that much damage. I'm going to open up with Toxic Radiance, so he's taking damage and getting more poisoned every time he's near us, every turn he's near us. I don't think we're going to be able to set up a double zap here. It's a little too far. And I'd rather keep him away from me just in case he gets some good rolls. See, he wasn't on the screen, but I still cast Radiance in advance, which is a nice trick because, well, my spell power is so low with poison. I really shouldn't have even memorized that. But if I had higher spellcraft or spell power with poison, what I could do is I could use OTR before he's even on the screen, and the effect stays on me for a while, and then he gets poisoned, and he keeps getting poisoned, you know, just by virtue of it being on me. So you kind of save a turn there. Let's just try to airstrike him to death. Yeah, see, that's not working out for us, so we'll walk right back up. I think he's going to be worth using a wand on. Can we paralyze? 21%. I don't want to waste that. Not with those chances. We could blow some polymorphs since we don't really care about that wand. In fact, I probably will. But what I really want to do is this cloud. Yeah, there we go. He does not like fire. He's not vulnerable, but he's not resistant either. Let's see, what is he? 3 evasion. That's why we don't want to be lightning bolting him. Thinking the move here. I think the move here is just to airstrike him and hope that he goes down. We could Meph Cloud him. That's always an option for somebody who's not poison resistant. But I don't think we need to worry about it. Yeah, there we go, he goes down. And that's really what the Wand of Clouds or Wand of Scattershot or any really nice wand, that's what it's for, is to take down, you know, obnoxious encounters that you would otherwise either have a problem with or not be able to handle at all. Just to make your life easier. The trick is to use this kind of thing before you're dying, because if you wait until you're in an emergency situation, it might be too late. Got another Wand of Polymorph here, but we're just going to ditch it. I do not favor Wand of Polymorph. Well, we'll take it, and we'll drop the other one. And instead, Flame Wand. Oh, wait, I didn't actually use any charges. Okay, never mind. We officially have Channel Magic available to us. Costs Hunger and Piety, and that's the ability that gives you just extreme magic regeneration for a period of time, which I believe is dependent upon your invocations. Our failure rate is still kind of high, 21%. So I think, yeah, we will in fact train a little bit more invocations, and we'll get some conjurations while we're at it. Unfortunately, Sif Muna has yet to give us a book. I mean, I was kind of hoping she would give us maybe Book of Power, or since I have the ice staff here, something with Freezing Cloud would be nice. I'm gonna drop this relatively used up Wand of Confusion since I just got a full one. Drop some of these Wands of Flame, we really don't need this many. And this mostly used up Wand of Disintegration. And the Wand of Random Effects. I like to do a little bit of inventory management from time to time. Ideally before I get to, you know, a stack of 52. Okay, Book of Geomancy. That's the starter book for Earth Elementalists, and it's not very good for us. I could memorize Pass Wall. I'd probably forget to use it in the situations where it would be good. Honestly. And we have Blink. We have Imps. We have a lot of stuff already for kind of janky situations. I don't think we strictly need it. And unless we were to also get, you know, Iron Shot, we probably will not be going into Earth. As much as I like the Octopode, the statue form Octopode, I don't think it's going to happen. Then again, we may 15 rune this, and at that point, maybe I will use staff form. Maybe we'll do the late game chase swap or something. And become melee. Once you have all that extra experience, you can pretty much do whatever you want. The world is your oyster. And, you know, if you do have stat form on an octopus, it becomes a very, very good melee character. Because suddenly you have not just AC, but you have GDR as well. So all those weaknesses, you know, like a transmuting Octopode, once you get it rolling, is really amazing because, you know, you're transmuted, but you get the bonus of all those rings. You're wearing 8 rings, and you're in dragon form, or you're in staff form. Probably one of the most powerful melee characters that exists, but, you know, it takes forever to get it off the ground. In fact, I would say that if you really, really wanted to play the statue form Octopode, I wouldn't do Transmuter Start, because Transmuter Start outside of Snakes is pretty poor, pretty weak, pretty hard to guarantee a victory on D1, where you can just sort of die, where you have to melee with Beastly Appendage. Now, if you really, really were dead set on that and wanted a start that was good for it, I would start as an Earth Elementalist. And then go Sif Muna, since you'll eventually get some kind of transmutations. Playing a little risky there, lightning bolting these guys, but there were enough targets that the high EV is sort of offset by the fact that it's going to be passing through 3 of them. And so, sort of playing the math game here, hedging my bets that it's, you know, it's going to hit 1, at least. Got a Wand of Lightning, no real need for us to carry that. I mean, we cast it. We're not likely, I mean, we will carry it for now because we have so much inventory, but that is something that's a candidate for getting rid of later when we start caring about our inventory, because we cast Lightning Bolt. And we're Sif Muna, so we have all the mana we'd ever want. Speaking of which, once Channel Magic is down to, say, 10%, I'm probably going to stop training Invocations forever. It's not really a thing I anticipate being a big problem. This is a lot. Wow. See, this is the kind of situation I'm talking about. We're on Lair 4. You know, we've got a lot of tools to deal with this, but that's 3 Spiny Frogs. If this was 3 Hydras, I could just walk away and sort of engage them at my leisure. But that's not an option because they move... I mean, it says fast. Let's look at the speed. speed 12. So they move faster than us. We're speed 10. I don't really know the math on how many squares, whatever. But I know that they're faster. And so walking away just means that I'm delaying the inevitable. However, they're vulnerable to hexing. So there's that. We can always cloud them. I think actually I'm going to opt for the cloud. We have a lot of scrolls of recharging still. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, they're gonna die. That's not a thing they're gonna live through. So we're just gonna lightning bolt everything. Just gets wrecked. Unless you're up against undead, this is the cloud you want to see. As long as whatever you're fighting is not immune to negative energy, that's just going to kill. It's going to kill anything. Almost anything. Tons of damage. And even if it doesn't kill it, the drain effect, really, really good debuff. Hey, here we are. See, look how bad this could have been. Now, I spotted him on the corner, but imagine if I had just popped over here and then he was, you know, I could see if I had, like, rounded this corner, he could have gotten a hit on me. He's only 4 heads, but nothing stopping 10-headed hydras from spawning here. But we can just walk backwards. I think we may want to just try to double zap him. He doesn't have a ton of hit points. I mean, 71 is a lot, but Lightning Bolt does a ton of damage. And we get 2. We get 2 zaps. And his evasion sucks, so we'll probably hit. Can't really hex these guys without a lot of investment and evocations. I mean, I could blow a lot of charges on Paralyze if I was a little further from him. But he's, you know, he's 36%, and I just don't want to waste it. So what we're going to do, let's do the math real fast. He hits for 18 damage. Round that to 20, he can hit 4 times. He does about 80 damage. That's more hit points than we have. So that tells me I don't even want to take the risk of letting him hit me. We're actually, technically, we are in the danger zone right now. Because there's random energy in this game, which I think is silly. But what that means is this guy, if he rolls well, or if he rolls poorly, random energy can show up. And one of 2 things will happen. Either he will move twice, which allows him to move and attack me, or he'll not move at all. And the stated goal for this, if I remember correctly, is to make it harder to pillar dance people, you know, like dance around, things like this. It doesn't really do that. What it really does is it gets you killed because you think you're safe and you're not. So right now, every step we take, he could walk, hit me, do 80 damage, kill me. I really should not be walking. This is too far. Yeah, this is too far to, I think this is too far to walk, because I'm trying to get all the way up here. So I shouldn't have taken that many steps. That is dangerous. Instead, what we're going to do now is we're going to roll the dice. We're going to roll the dice on... Okay, here's our options. We can blink, which possibly puts us right in the middle of those 2 guys, and then we could die. Don't really want to blink. We could swiftness, which puts several squares between me and him, enough to kill him. Probably. Unless things go badly. Or we could try to call some imps, but that probably won't buy enough time. Sure, we have some more options here. Oh yeah, we could net. We don't have any throwing, but we could net. Throwing the net, if it hits him, and it probably would be ideal, because he's, you know, he's stuck. If he doesn't get stuck, that means he's next to us, and potentially with random energy gets another hit, or gets a hit. I guess 4 hits. Probably the most reliable is to swiftness. I only have a 1% fail rate, so we're going to do that. We're quick. Now we walk, we walk, we walk. We're just putting squares in between me and him. Now, the downside of swiftness is that eventually it will turn off. Now I'm a little slower now. Now, if I remember correctly, I think I'm just normal speed now, once it starts to wear off. Two stages of equal duration. No, I think it's just wearing off now, so we're still fast. But yeah, there we go. During the second half of this, our move speed we get slowed. And that means we really can no longer walk away from this guy, but we've put a lot of distance between us, and that's what we wanted. So we're going to start just, let's see. Yeah, I think we could just airstrike him a bit. That'll be the most guaranteed way to do some damage at this range. Yeah, we should have swiftnessed a while ago. We took a big risk with the random energy by not doing that. Unfortunately, lightning bolts do not reach this high, or this far. We could try to throw some hexes at him. We could disintegrate and probably get it, at least, for damage. But we have tons of mana. We're going to airstrike. He takes a little bit of damage. Now he's in lightning bolt range. Now, what do we do if he gets next to us? If he gets close enough, because now we can't get away. Well, if he gets too close, I am probably going to use a scroll of blinking, or I may even just cast blink. I might take the risk. But let's lightning bolt. Let's lightning bolt again. Wait, oh, we can't reach to do the double zap. So here's where we use clouds. That's what we want. Yeah, that's good. Zap again, and he's dead. And that's how carefully you got to take Hydra fights at this point in the game, especially as a caster. I mean, that was less careful than we should have taken it. Seems like a fairly quiet floor other than that. Oh, we have some scrolls of identify here. Use it on magic, or we get a magic potion identified. That'll be useful, maybe. And we'll start working on these scrolls. I like to do the ones where I have less stacks first. Unfortunately, it didn't pay off. We got a scroll of noise. But the theory that I have is that, if you have something really nice, like if it was a potion, it would be, a experience potion. Or for a scroll, if it's maybe a scroll of acquirement, you're going to have less in the stack. So if you're not particularly hurting on things, on consumables, you don't really need to know what's your cure potion, what's your healing potion, whatever. I tend to go for the low stacks first, because I really want to know if I have that experience potion for sure, and I especially want to know if I have acquirement. That's the kind of thing that can make your game a lot easier. Not so much on this character. I mean, probably acquire ring and get something crappy, or acquire jewelry. But you never know. It's not always a disappointment. Okay, we're below 10% fail rate, so we're done with invocations. I want to go back to training a little bit of defenses. Fighting especially would help me here. I mean, look at this. What you can do what you can do is you can, let's see, yeah, let's look at the training and the cost. I mean, as you can see, fighting and dodging, first of all, our apps are great as an Octopode. But even if they weren't, it's exponential. I think it's exponential, meaning that the less experience you have, or the less training you have in a skill, the less it costs to train up. So there's really no excuse on any character not to go ahead and get at least a few points of this, even early in the game. This will give you a bunch of hit points, and this dodging will increase your evasion, which is the only real defense that we have. I mean, we have this buckler, but it's not doing much for us. Sort of a Hail Mary if you're relying on a buckler to save you. Oh, here we go. Let's disintegrate this guy. Unfortunately, we make a lot of noise, because that's what our Elementalists do. Okay, we're fully explored now, up to Lair 4. Go into Lair 5. Whoa, this is not... We don't like this. This is not good. Sort of a misplay here. We're gonna blink, and hopefully we can get enough room to Meph Cloud. These guys, you know, they do 12 damage, not a lot, but we take all of it. Something to always remember. I'll put on Toxic Radiance here. Oh, man. Okay, there we go. I mean, you can airstrike them and take them down pretty fast. But, I mean, think about it. 12, 24, 36, 48 damage possible just from being surrounded by 4 of those guys. That's more than half my health. Very different experience playing as this kind of character than some kind of melee, you know, tabathon. You could say it's a different game in a lot of ways. Looks like we have a book that we already identified, and that's our starter book. Another copy of that. I'm not sure when we're going to start getting books from Sif Muna, but hopefully it's soon. Could really go for Freezing Cloud. In fact, just a Book of the Clouds would be nice. See how fast we get, you know, minus cast goes away, like 1, 2, 3. 3 turns, and you get another spell. I mean, that's great. Oh, a Ring of Ice. Now we have 2 spell enhancers for ice. That makes me hungry for ice spells even more. Now, we are going to take that off, because, I mean, if you're wearing this, you get a pip of fire vulnerability, and boy, that sucks. That's not good. If you run into a Hellhound, he can do what, 75 damage to you, something like that, and that's just without the vulnerability. You take, I think, half again as much damage if you have the vulnerability. It's a good way to die early if you wear a Ring of Ice or even a Ring of Fire early on. Best not to do that. I mean, I would rather not have the spell enhancer than die like that. I'm going to do some auto-exploring now. Alright, here we are. All of Lair is explored, except for the final floor. Now, there is the school of thought that says, don't go into Lair 6 until you've maybe explored Dungeon a little more, or Orc. I will go in. But if it sucks too bad, I will go right back out. Because some of these are really bad. Like that Catablebus, we didn't really have a chance of killing him too quickly. But, I mean, depending on how nasty it is, you can stair dance a bit. But what would be unfortunate is if we walk down here and we take one step, hit a teleporter, and then we're in the middle of a pack of death yaks or something. And I do mean in the middle, so it's harder to run away. That can happen. It's especially bad if you get some water on the floor on Lair 6, and then you're not an amphibious sort of character, and then you just kind of trapped in water. You really got to make sure that if you're on Lair 6, to take it a little bit carefully, and you kind of don't want to do it if you don't have at least one scroll of teleportation, maybe a couple scrolls of blinking. We have enough, I think, to get out of most nasty situations. In fact, we're going to identify these scrolls. Got an enchant weapon. Don't really have a use for that yet. We'll go ahead and identify this disintegration. Just some nice damage for anything that has bad MR. Might as well lessen the amount of charges that we waste. This is nice. See, I like this. You got these plants in the way. These guys are kind of out of luck trying to get to me unless they fight through it. But airstrike doesn't care. And so I just airstrike and I just kill everything. And I just kind of walk away here. And the wyvern especially, he's flying, so he takes extra damage. Just don't want to bite off more than we can chew. We only have so much mana. If I really want to use that Sif Muna ability, I will. Whoa, hello. Almost didn't notice this hornet. Let's, oh boy. I forgot to recharge my clouds. We'll do it now. That's bad play, though. Yeah, take hornets seriously. They will paralyze you. Like, if you paralyzed me right now, I would just die. But I think... Let's see. I think hornets don't have a lot of hit points. Yeah, 33. Since he's flying, airstrike will probably kill him, and he's poisoned, and he's susceptible to poison. He's probably going to die. Ooh. He did not. Yeah, see, this is a potential instant kill situation here. If he had hit me and he had paralyzed me, I'm dead. You know, surrounded by this crap, you're just dead. Letting him get next to me was a misplay. Fortunately, that didn't happen. I want to be away from these guys, like yesterday. We're gonna... I think we're gonna risk the blink. Well, I could paralyze. See, this is the kind of situation where unless you're really paying attention and really experienced with this, you might not realize that it's so risky. I mean, I'm at full hit points. Surely I'm safe, right? No. If I get hit and I get paralyzed, I will die. No question about it. Paralysis takes away my meager evasion, leaves me at my crappy 5 EV, or 5 AC rather. I think it even takes away my shield. So it's just death. These guys are nasty. I think the safest option is to airstrike this guy. Yeah, he dies. Now we're not so scared. Wyverns still do good damage, but they haven't hit me yet, and airstrike kills them very, very fast. And they're poisoned. So they die. Now I just got the Mamba to deal with. We can't get them in a double zap without hitting ourselves, so we're gonna use all of our mana to airstrike. And then we're gonna disintegrate him to death. See, disintegrate can be useful. I wasn't the biggest fan of the change that made it affected by MR, but it still does excellent damage. And so early on in the game especially, it's not a bad thing to have. Okay, we got an 8-headed Hydra. And just like the other Hydra, we don't want to let him get next to us, but doubly so now. I think he can do, with 18 damage per head, if he were to hit us for max damage on every hit, which is possible, if he were to do that, we would take not just our full hit point damage, but twice as much. So he's not a guy we want to let get next to us under any circumstances. So we'll airstrike him. We will lightning bolt. Use the Wand of Clouds, again, using resources against tough, big experience value monsters is fine. And I don't have to fight him. I could just walk away. I don't have to use that. If I didn't have this fat stack of 2 recharge scrolls, maybe I would just walk away and just kind of not deal with him. Or maybe I'd try to kite him and zap him and wait until I get good rolls and he dies. But I'm just going to take care of him this way because it's more or less guaranteed to work. Unless I were to get, unless I were to get like a, poison or a mephitic cloud cone. But then you just walk away, you take the staircase, and then you take another one. Hey, this is fun. Yeah, this vault sucks. It's probably the nastiest. This is probably the nastiest Lair 6. And I imagine a lot of people die, at least the first time they see it. Now, I made like a ton of noise, so he came out of his little ambush area, but this guy is, I think he comes with 2 black mambas, spiny frogs, some other nasty stuff. And they all just go next to you and they kill you instantly. I don't even want to fight him, honestly, but I kind of have to take him out. 44 hit points. Now, what I'm not sure if I can't see the monsters next to him, I'm not sure if he can blink them to me. But I think he can. I think as long as they're in like his line of sight, even though monsters don't really have line of sight in this game, it's usually based on your line of sight. But I think for this guy, if there are dudes near him, even if they're out of range of me, I think he will blink them next to me. Let's see if Beam can help us here. Is that not what it's called? Blink allies encircling? Maybe we'll just search for this guy, Guardian Serpent. Nope, no help. Let's see. We'll roll the dice. He doesn't seem to have buddies around him. Guardian Serpents apparently move fast. He just moved 2 squares in the time it took me to airstrike him. I thought they were speed 12. No, speed 15, yeah. They are very fast. This is worth a Wand of Clouds. Ah, no. We got whammied. We'll just go right upstairs. He's resistant to poison, so we don't want to see that poison cloud. Oh, hello. We got a fire crab. He can blow fire, big clouds of it, right on our face. And then we're stuck in the middle of a big fire cloud, which we may or may not be able to take one step to get out of. We'll do a good amount of damage to us, I think, at this point. Let's see. I always like to ask Beam here details on monsters because it kind of tells me how careful I need to be if I don't have it memorized. Let's see. So in melee, yeah, I know he hits you 15, 8 to 15 fire on top of that. Flaming cloud, yeah, the cloud does, I guess, 1d12, which is a lot less than I thought. I don't know if that's accurate. I want to say that's not accurate. But maybe. However, he's not fast. He's not fast, so we can just walk away if we don't want to fool with him today. I think we're going to do that. He's too far away to actually hit us with the flame clouds. And we're going to do the usual safety strategy. See, this, I'm glad we did this, because this guy could have walked right up. This Catoblepus on the right side here could have walked right up on us while we were fighting. However, now we need to decide what we're going to do about this. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to cast Swiftness. We're going to walk, walk, walk. He can melee us for good damage, 36, but wow, no damage. Our AC actually did something. With the Swiftness up, yeah, there we go. Swiftness is good, particularly since I've trained a lot of air magic. I'm gonna get some charms too. Just why not? You know, if we find deflect missiles at some point, charms will be nice. And we might as well, you know, whoops, we might as well, what am I trying to do here? Yeah, there we go. We might as well pump the spell power a bit. We still have 3 pips to go on it. And we have 0 charms. We'll probably get at least a pip really, really quickly with almost no investment, so no real reason not to. Now, I keep accidentally summoning imps. We're gonna change the letter on this to P. Unfortunately, that's, I had it on I, and that's the same, that is the same letter that shows you things like spell power. Well, it brings up your spell list, and then, you know, shows you all the details. Oh, hey. We'll risk it. Just trying to sort of... just trying to airstrike him to death. It's not working. Hopefully we get a good cloud. We did not. Oh boy. I forgot he did that. What is that? How much damage is that? 26. Ooh, yeah, that's too... We don't want to fool with that. We're going to go back up. Yeah, he can do 36 damage to us. And poison on top of that. With that poison bolt. That could have been very bad. Venom bolt is what it's called. Would be significantly reduced if we had poison resistance, but we do not. Unfortunately. Whoa, hey! We got some friends over here. See, this is how nasty a Lair 6 can get. I went from one staircase to another staircase, and now I've got a Hornet, a Catoblepus, several heads Hydra, 8-headed Hydra, and even a Rhyme Drake over here. We don't want to fight all this crap. This is not good. We're going to go right back up to Lair 5. And unfortunately, that is all the staircases. All the staircases. Because that, which we just escaped from, is next to this one. The other one's here. The one we just went up. We could come down here, but, you know, there's a bunch of crap. Nothing guaranteeing that the Hydra won't land right on our face. So we kind of have a choice. We can either take this hatch and hope that it leads somewhere that's not miserable. We could go down here and play with Mr. Wyvern and Mr. Guardian Serpent, which sucks. Or we can walk down this staircase, which I think is safe. Should be. Maybe. I don't think anything can be right next to us if we go down there. But because my Spidey Sense is tingling here, we're gonna quaff agility. I'm willing to blow a little bit of resources just to make sure I don't get owned here. I'll even quaff Invis. Just to kind of get a leg up here. Yeah, that's what I thought. I saw this Hydra here as like sort of a shadow where I'd seen it before. I didn't know if it was the same Hydra as this one. Turns out we've got two. So, yeah, this is the point where you might consider just kind of taking a stroll over to Orc, getting some experience, and bailing. I don't think I'm going to do that. Instead, I'm going to paralyze this guy. Kill him with a lightning bolt. Just going to try to tactically take these guys out. I'll go ahead and use clouds on him. Take out the Hornet. Now, these guys are stupid. They will go right into the fire. Not sure how often they'll do it if I'm invisible. But yeah, they will just die. It doesn't mean we want to risk letting them get next to us. Okay, that's one Hydra. Taking out the Hydra, the Fire Crab, the Hornet. Not too concerned about the 8-headed Hydra over here. He still can't see me. Catablebus can't see me, but that doesn't mean we want to let us take damage here. We're going to zap him. Did that miss? That hit him, it just didn't do much. Can we get a double zap? Not really. Yeah, there we go. Double zap. Ooh, Wolf Spider. Wolf Spider is like a faster, nastier, higher damage spiny frog. Except susceptible to poison. So we can OTR him. We can Meph Cloud him. And we can just kind of... Oh wow. Thought their evasion was better than that. We can double zap him. Hoo boy. So he's dead, but he's got a buddy. And this is more or less the last thing we would ever want to see at this point. Like, this is the most obnoxious unique probably that you could see in Lair. Because chances are good you don't have magic resistance. Not enough to make you really want to handle this guy safely, or think you can handle him safely. So he can paralyze you. I have no magic resistance, except for whatever Octopodes get naturally for levels, so there's a 62% chance to paralyze or confuse. And then he'll just sort of beat you to death after berserking. This particular Rupert has spawned with an Executioner's Axe of chopping, so probably decently enchanted as well. Probably +5 or something. Here's the other thing about Rupert. He has good MR. So if you want to try to play the Paralyzed Rupert game, unless you have a Scroll of Vulnerability, probably not going to happen. Usually, I just walk away from this guy. Now, I would actually consider this lucky in terms of how we encountered him, because we didn't go around a corner, we didn't get slammed by him immediately. He's actually as far away from us as he can be. Even if he paralyzes us, which he may not, but even if he paralyzes us, he, as far as I know, cannot close the distance, especially with those clouds in the way, quick enough to hit us. But if he does hit us, I mean, what is it? It's 21 damage plus chopping, maybe more if he decides to berserk immediately. And then let's look up. Yeah, an Executioner's Axe does 18 damage, and that's just the base before you do the math on chopping. So he's going to do over half our hit points, probably, if he rolls decently. So what do we do about this guy? Can we just kind of super damage him down until he dies? Really fast? Not really. He's got 120. that's really too much to try to bank on rushing him down. This would be, I mean, it would be nice to be able to polymorph him. That's a situation where I'd like it. He would drop his weapons and armor. He wouldn't have his abilities. That'd be great. But again, 10% chance. So this is a guy where you just really, I mean, I think he even sees invisible. Yeah, he does. So unless you have some kind of like ace in the hole, it's best to just avoid this guy until you're stronger. And I don't really have something outside of catching him in maybe like an immolate trap. Wait until he's surrounded by a bunch of popcorn and then zapping it, and then he immolates and dies. That would work. We could meth cloud him. That certainly works. He's not immune to poison or even resistant. There's no guarantee it'll work. We just really don't want to be next to him. So I think what we're going to do here is we're going to swiftness. Whew. And he immediately confuses us. But we're swift. That's fine. We have 5 potions of curing. He yells at us again, confused again. He wants to use up our resources. We're going to walk away. Now, if he paralyzes us, we would have just blinked. So we used up 2 potions of curing, which I think is worth it. It's worth it to get away from Rupert. So we have a couple of options here. Again, we could just leave Lair 6, which would be a bit unfortunate since we're so close to getting whatever loot it might have. Or we could try to take him out. Ugh, look how much damage. He took us down to 19 hit points with that poison. That spiny frog. Our main problems on this floor is that Guardian Serpent, which is not too bad on his own, and then we got Rupert. With a favorable Wand of Clouds, in combination with double zaps, he would go down. But we want to be in melee with him 0 turns. He really can just kill us super fast. It's the paralyzed that we're really afraid of. If that happens, then and he's next to us, you're just dead. You're just not going to live. There's no question about it. Not with our AC. Whoops. Oh, I'm moving too fast here. Let's do this. Hey, that's good. We're not going to have any Guardian Serpent problems soon. I'm going to take him down so he doesn't bolt us. And we'll finish off the spiny frog. There we go. Okay. We'll go ahead and use recharging on clouds. We've used up all of our recharging scrolls at this point, but in my opinion, well worth it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to hope that we don't run into Rupert again. If we do, we'll be careful and try to just walk away from him. Oh, right, I have Disintegration. Whoops. You might be wondering why I'm not using Channel Magic a little more. And the only reason that I'm not using it a little more is I'm trying to keep my piety up. Because I want a book. I want Sif Moon to stop being so stingy. Did we get any spell power on this guy? Not yet. In fact, let's just train nothing but charms for a little while until we get another pip of power on swiftness, and then we'll call it a day on that. Approaching 100 hit points, which is nice. Fighting training has paid off in addition to gaining some levels. I like to consider 100 kind of the magic number when you're a little bit less fragile. There's not a lot of things in the game that can just straight up do 100 damage to you, even with the worst possible rolls. There's Crystal Spear, there's certain really nasty melee monsters, Ettins and whatnot. But for the most part, it's hard to get surprised with more than 100 damage at the same time. Not without really missing something that you should have noticed. Again, we will use the Wand of Clouds to take out Hydras, just for now. Mostly because I don't want to have to kite them around and stair dance and spend lots and lots of turns doing that. And because every turn, especially every turn that I spend in this floor, is another chance for Rupert to show up and make me have a bad day. And there he is. He hasn't spotted me yet. He spotted me. So this is interesting. This is interesting. We have a couple guys here. We could try to do what I was talking about with the Emulate trap. Now, here's the thing. He cannot paralyze us, and he cannot confuse us as long as there are dudes in between us and him. And that's another thing we can sort of leverage to our advantage. In fact, we could try to kind of airstrike him with stuff in front of him, but he might just pass through them or swap positions with them. That would not be a fun time. But here's an option. Alright, we got some secret tech here. If we really wanted to, we could take a step to the right, we could paralyze the Mamba, and then we could just sort of airstrike Rupert until he dies. Because the thing is, if you got a paralyzed monster, they can't walk through it. He can't really do anything. We're going to try that. Okay. So if we run out of mana, we're going to use our ability. Let's see how much damage we can get on this guy. That's not very much, but we have... I don't want to say we have infinite time, because here's the risk. The risk is, if the paralysis wears off, and Rupert is, say, right here, then pretty much that same turn, I want to say he can just swap positions with him, and now we're next to Rupert and we're having a bad day. If that happens, I'm just going to blink all the way over here with a scroll. But barring that, we're going to keep airstriking him. We're going to go ahead and use Channel Magic. We're channeling now. He's Berserk. That's actually good. Worst case scenario, he can no longer paralyze us, not while he's Berserk. He can just swing. Now, he can walk up and punch us in the face for 21 plus 18 plus whatever damage, but that's only 40-ish, and even with Berserked, if you increase for that, I don't think he can instantly kill us. Not as we are right now. So we're just going to keep airstriking him. I could use a haste here, but I'm not gonna. I have to wonder if I can sort of refresh the paralysis. In fact, we're going to try that. Nothing happens. Yeah, you can't do that and wasted a turn there. Well, it's working. Slowly, but it's working. die, does he? Oh, we take some... Oh, whoa, hey, there we are. So it did happen. Exactly what I said might happen. That verifies... Actually, this is pretty silly, if you think about it. The Mamba gets unparalyzed, and then at the exact same time, he attacks me. Reasonable, fine. But then, on top of that, Rupert swaps positions with the guy. So that's a real shame. Didn't know that all that was possible. I didn't think he would be able to attack and swap positions at the same time, but I guess it's because it's the Mamba's action to attack me, and then it's Rupert's action to swap positions. So we're in a bad spot now, but what we can do is we can C-blink over here, and this is more resources than I wanted to use, but I mean, whatever. I'll use the haste. We really just want him dead at this point. We don't want to have wasted all this for nothing, or used all these spells, or used all these resources for nothing. We will cloud cone him as soon as he gets close enough. But until then, we're just going to lightning bolt. He's almost dead. We're going to cloud cone. Good. Ice. Lightning bolt. He doesn't die. Lightning bolt. He just doesn't want to eat it. We will blink. Hey, there we go. He's dead. Okay, so I would say we spent too many resources on that. But on the other hand, we've probably got a fairly safe Lair 6 now, so worth it. You be the judge. Still have not raised a pip of spell power on swiftness yet, but it doesn't really matter. Really, we're just training charms speculatively if we were to get deflect missiles. Charms is kind of a dead school now because they took away haste. It's not nearly as popular as it was before, but there are still good things in it. Just more of a dip school. You don't really go pure charms, not heavy. Really no reason to. I don't even think there's any high level charm spells anymore, if there ever were. Which I'm kind of curious. No, I guess I can't search by school. Maybe Beam knows. Is there a list? Yeah, I forgot Death's Door. If you were going to do Death's Door or Ring of Flames, I'm not sure why you would do Ring of Flames, just for fun, I guess. It's a good spell, but it's not, in my opinion, terribly worth investing in charms for. So what do we got here? We'll drop the unidentified paralysis, but we may come back for it later. This is not the best loot I've had. Okay, there's that Hellhound. Glad I didn't put on that Ring of Ice. He can still do 75 damage to us though, or something like that. So you want to be aware of what they can do and what they can't. Yeah, we got the Pip of Power, so we're not going to train charms anymore. Let's go back to fighting and dodging. We're still very low on those. And still no books. Still no books from Sif Muna. So I think we're just going to keep sort of chugging along on conjurations. Hopefully we get something decent. I kind of wanted to jump into summonings, but I'm not going to take the risk. Like, here I am, all I have is Call Imp. The only summoning spell available to me is Call Imp. I'm not going to train summons for that, and then Sif Muna doesn't give me any books of it for a long time. Not worth it. Potion of Haste, that'll replace the one we lost. Versus Rupert. Got a Staff of Death. I'm going to drop that because we probably won't be using Necromancy this game. Not for a while anyway. Not unless we end up going 15 runes. Find a Necronomicon or something. It's kind of spamming Airstrike here. Kills just about anything that we're going to run into. Sort of finishing this out. Oh, hello. Whoops. That could have been bad. Let's do this. Ah. Yeah, resistant to poison. This is not where we want to be. As I was saying, he can do about 70 damage to us with that fire breath, I think. And he's speed 15, so he will chase us down and he will take us out. Oh. No, it's only 30 damage. 3d10. I guess I was wrong. Still, we don't want to take that, so we're going to go ahead and airstrike him to death. Jeez, he just doesn't... There we go. Susceptible to poison, huh? Why aren't you getting poisoned? Oh, right, this is the Meph Cloud. We got particularly trolled by the Cloud Wand. But it's not bad. So we'll zap him. Whoa! See, look at that, look at that. Polar Bear. Polar Bear hits us only once and does like 30 damage. Something like that. Let's hope he doesn't berserk. I don't think he can before he goes to a certain amount of hit points. But we really just don't want to fight all this crap. We woke up a ton of monsters with that lightning bolt. There we go. We'll go finish that out. Wow, that is a lot. Whew. That is a lot of hells. This is the dog vault. I'm gonna lure this guy out. Just gonna lightning bolt him to death. Now that my spell power is a little higher, I can more or less trust myself to be able to lightning bolt hydras to death. No need to waste cloud cones at this point. We hear all these howls, but they aren't actually coming out to cause us problems. I don't know if they're flagged or whatever not to leave the vault. Jeez. Gets a little bit tedious here. Just trying to kill all these dogs. And bears. Nothing in here is particularly dangerous. I mean, the Raijus, in theory, could blink lightning right at you, do a good amount of damage and melee you, but even as a caster, none of this stuff is going to really kill you unless you make a really bad mistake. Now, honestly, my instinct is to sort of use a immolation scroll and speed this up, but that's sort of hubris. You know, you just, no real reason to do it, you're just doing it to speed things up. And you're taking risks just to speed things up. It's generally not optimal. Got too much stuff here. Yeah, the Raijus, yeah, they can do that, but you can also hex them. Just gonna walk away. Yeah, bears are stupid. They will walk right on top of all this stuff. Apparently dogs are stupid too. They'll walk right over the acid. Most things seem to be willing to walk right on top of acid walls. If Donald spawns in the slime pits, he will just die from the acid walls. Same for ghosts. They'll happily walk on top of them. See, if I was like a melee character, this would be a lot less tedious. Just kind of tab through most of this stuff as a melee character. Probably if you were like Trog and had axes, you could berserk and kill every single thing in this whole vault in one berserk, depending on how kind the RNG has been to you on loot so far. This is a guy we want to be kind of careful about. There's only one of them, but Dream Sheep, if they're in a pack, you know, they'll put you to sleep, and then you'll take extra damage when something wakes you up, usually by hitting you. And we don't have that many hit points to go around still, and our AC is bad. So we really don't want to take a nap. But the chance of them actually succeeding is significantly lower if they're not in a pack. If there's only one. For every single sheep, I believe it raises the chance of you getting slept. But it's not impossible. I don't think it's impossible for a single one to put you to sleep, so you should always assume that they're going to do it. Got a bunch of gold. That'll be nice in Orc, maybe. We're almost done here. Yeah, unfortunately, Lair 6 is sort of a crapshoot. You know, sometimes you'll get really good loot. Most of the time it's garbage. And in particular, what are we really trying to get on this Octopode? I mean, other than some sort of crazy good rings, what we really want are books right now. In fact, I would probably take certain books over the +8 armor class ring at this point. Because I don't want to be airstriking and lightning bolting forever. That'll become very bad soon. I mean, it's good for the whole game, but we'd really like to have maybe CBL or chain lightning. I mean, something higher level. Really anything. Okay. So that's Lair. Lair is done. And we have yet to find any artifacts other than this garbage dagger. Not too out of the ordinary. 751 gold pieces. Nothing good to buy anymore. And Staff of Cold, Staff of Death. You know, all in all, the RNG hasn't been particularly giving to us in terms of stuff to wear, but we've got good wands, and we've got, you know, a decent selection of scrolls. Hey, look at this. We've been carrying a Scroll of Acquirement this whole time. And at some point, I picked up a Book of Beasts and didn't even notice. Okay, that changes things. Yeah, that changes things a lot. That means... Okay, hold on a second. Let me get this to 12. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we got 12 conjurations. That means I want to do summonings pretty much exclusively. Because Summon Hydra, a lot of people don't like it. I'm a fan because it's kind of like just a big pile of damage. It only lasts a couple turns, but it's probably going to kill what you're sending it at. Mana Viper, if they can survive long enough to hit an Orb of Fire, they'll take it into, they'll make it useless. You know, it'll still cast, but much less often because they've got anti-magic. So those two spells are totally worth jumping into summonings. If it was a little earlier in the game, Summon Ice Beast would be worth it too. So we're going to train summonings. Sif Muna is great for summonings, and so there's really no reason for us not to at least dip in, but we're probably going to do more than dip. We're going to become a primary summoner. Little pack of experience here. We don't have a lot of mana lying around. At least we didn't. Let's go back down. Get that experience. Don't want to leave it behind. If it's not dangerous, you might as well collect it. Yeah, so see, I only killed like a small pack of monsters, and I went from 0 summonings to 2.1 that quickly. That's the power of low cost when you don't have very much skill yet. We'll pretty much fly up these ranks, and as a benefit, I think we'll gain piety faster with Sif Muna. Yeah, so we have the book. We're not actually going to memorize anything from it yet, but probably the first thing we do memorize would be the Mana Viper. Well, no, we'll go ahead and get Mana Viper. That's going to be useful to us, no question. We're going to Amnesia off, call Imp, because Imps are not that great at this point in the game. And we'll get a little bit of Hexes too, because why not? We'll very quickly get Mana Viper up to snuff. And I'm probably going to call the video here. And next time I'll probably finish out Dungeon and do work. But before we do that, why don't we find out what this acquirement does? The real question is, what do we want? What do we want to do? Now that we have that book, and since we're worshipping Sif Muna, we're going to get more books. My instinct, if that wasn't true, would be to go for book, just because I kind of need more spells still. But that's a problem that's on the way to being solved. Instead, we could do jewelry, possibly get a ring, possibly get nothing. Nothing valuable. We could go staff. Staff is an attractive option because we could get a Staff of Air. We get a Staff of Air, that means we do way more damage with Lightning Bolt, way more damage with Airstrike, or any other air spell if we happen to get any. Do weapon, we don't need a weapon. Really the only good option here is staff, jewelry, or maybe evocables, because with evocables, We could get like a lamp of fire, something reusable. It'd be handy to have. We're gonna roll the dice to get staff. Staff of Conjuration. That's not bad. That acts as a staff of air. They're the same as a staff of air in terms of spells that are part Conjuration School. So Lightning Bolt is going to do extra damage now. So that's great. So we'll call the video here. Next time we will do Orc and the rest of Dungeon. Maybe not in that order.